great, wonderful day out there to all you beautiful beings of light sharing in this study with me. We are here doing the lessons of A Course in Miracles, and today we're doing lesson number 48. And it's a good one. I got some good ideas for this one, just in case just repeating the phrase doesn't scratch the itch for you. So stay tuned. All right, today's lesson, lesson 48, there is nothing to fear. The idea for today simply states a fact. It is not a fact to those who believe in illusions, but illusions are not facts. In truth, there is nothing to fear. It is very easy to recognize this, but it is very difficult to recognize it for those who want illusions to be true. Who want illusions to be true. Today's practice periods will be very short, very simple, and very frequent. Merely repeat the idea as often as possible. You can use it with your eyes open at any time and in any situation. It is strongly recommended, however, that you take a minute or so whenever possible and close your eyes, repeat the idea slowly to yourself several times. It is particularly important that you use the idea immediately should anything disturb your peace of mind. The presence of fear is a sure sign that you are trusting in your own strength. The awareness that there is nothing to fear shows that somewhere in your mind, though not necessarily in a place you recognize as yet, you have remembered God and let His strength take the place of your weakness. The instant you are willing to do this, there is indeed nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. What are the rest of these lessons going to say? I don't know. We're on lesson 48. It sounds like that's pretty unequivocally a big, bold statement. There's nothing to fear. So I had the thought this morning as I was doing the lesson myself that we're kind of like, we've gone through several lessons where we're really digging in and things are really coming to the surface. And it seems like there's a lot of like movement and a lot of doing. So with this lesson, I thought to myself, it might be really hard to settle into this after all the upheaval from the previous lessons. So if you're looking for something to do and just closing your eyes and saying there's nothing to fear isn't good enough, or if you're like, how I used to be, like super hopped up on caffeine by now, and like the idea of closing your eyes, you're like, oh my God, that's impossible. How can I close my eyes? Or like you're just like laser beams of energy, you know, synthetic energy if it's coming from like intense amounts of caffeine. It may not be possible for you to settle in and calm down unless you can maybe like, if you're working at an office or something, you can go outside to your car, or even like going to the bathroom and sitting on the toilet. I mean, I've had so many moments of connecting with Jesus just like on the toilet. You're in a vulnerable way, you know, your pants are down, you're just sitting there, and you can close your eyes in the bathroom, surprisingly, even if you are on a lot of coffee. So anyway, I hope your life is going well and you're having fun no matter what it is that you do to stimulate your body in the morning. If you're looking for something to do more constructively with this, the thought that came to me was asking myself, what am I doing at different times throughout the day and why? And what that brings your awareness to is the programming that you're following. Because if it were up to, you know, your spirit, your soul to be free and just, you know, have a connection with God and let life just unfold in front of you, you wouldn't have any routines or habits or, you know, ways that you do things, you know, like this OCD part of you that is in there. It wouldn't exist because everything would be a decision made in the moment, in the flow of life, in the flow of love, without any scrutiny or judgment of yourself or others. So if you start to just think, you don't have to write anything down necessarily, but if you just think like, what am I doing and why? You will encounter your programming. And no matter what it is, the why that you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, particularly when it seems like automatic or unconscious, the why you're doing it is a fear. It's a fear. It's a fear that you're going to be judged if you don't do it that way, a fear of something from your past. You were trained to be a certain way, and if you don't do it that way, you know, whatever the consequence was 40 years ago, that's still in there. You know, a lot of times it's just a fear of not doing the right thing or breaking the rules. We have all these buried fears that keep us on this autopilot state for most of our lives. And then when you come across a Course in Miracles lesson that says, hey, just all day today, say there's nothing to fear, you may not believe that, because the way that you're behaving throughout the day, most of the day, is just like shut off from spirit because of fear. So anyway, that's just a suggestion. If you take the time to ask yourself, what am I doing and why, with whatever activity of the day? If it's not holding onto your book, you should get some answers about what fears are in there. And then you can use the statement of the lesson to tell yourself, there is nothing to fear. And maybe read through it again. It's only a couple of paragraphs. This is a short one, so it's kind of like a gift as we move forward in the lessons. So the other thing I wanted to do today, and this would require you to actually look at the video if you're just listening, I wanted to do a little quick Zena Art Show. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, my friend Carol Morgan, who is Tina Spalding's business partner and very good friend, and they're aspects of each other's soul, which is another really cool thing about their relationship. Anyway, Carol, she channels a blue avian being named Zena, and those teachings derive from the law of one material, and it would resonate very much if you've ever studied that, her work. And something else that she channels is art. So what I wanted to do was just take a couple minutes and show you some of these things called energy attunements. And all you have to do is put your eyes on the energy attunement. And it doesn't actually upgrade your energy, but it does sort of a function of integration of spiritual teachings, or, you know, the light energy that is within and, you know, around all of us in the atmosphere. It's a very special technology that doesn't require your consent, as would an upgrade. However, when you lay your eyes on it, there are all these codes and, you know, just this in a picture. It is the essence of a spiritual teaching that you don't have to think about. So it's just okay for you to just look at them. And I'll put her website, Carol's website, zenaattunements.com, in the comments section or in the description section, so that if you want to go take a look and perhaps purchase some of these things. I walked away with a lot that I'm going to be hanging up around my bedroom here, because these energy attunements I have found are very powerful. And when I'm feeling like I'm caught up in the world or stuck in the world, I can look at one of these things and it immediately makes me feel more at peace. I feel more calm, and I remember I don't know what anything is for. So whatever I'm bothered by or upset about or can't control, that's been a big one for me, I turn to spirituality, and I remember that my ego is definitely clever and wants me to believe that it can gain control and it can gain the momentum, when in reality, it just needs to quiet down. So anyway, the first thing I'll show you is, this is Carol's latest attunement, and I don't recall the name of any of these, so I'm just gonna show them and let you take a look. This one, I believe she said, in the drawing, sometimes Zena will tell her they are representations of people in her life, and she has two children. This is her daughter, and this is her son. So it's really interesting. I don't know how clear it'll be, but it's like a light language, and probably some familiar symbols. Those of you who are into this kind of artwork, you may see familiar things. So that'll be the first one. Let me grab a sip. This is my green tea latte. So good. I do love that maple syrup. You know, it's like a little green tea, a little maple syrup. All right. So here is the first one. This one is actually, I do know the name of this one. It's Mother Cacao. And so Carol actually did a channeled message on the back of each of these for me, which was lovely. And they're all so personal and so beautiful. In the love and the light of the one infinite creator. that one. Yeah, and it's just take a look at it. See what you feel. Does it do anything for you? Let's see. This one is, she says, or Zena says, I'm a limitless being indeed. So I believe that the title of this one is about limitlessness. Maybe I'll just be quiet. To share this with you. All right, last one. So there's nothing to fear. I feel a little bit more peaceful and open-hearted just by looking at those images with you. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll include the website in the description. Have a good time with this lesson today. And if you want to take the time to do the exercise about what are you doing and why, and kind of like see where there's fear and remind yourself there's nothing to fear, it might make your day seem a little bit more productive. Have a great, wonderful time today, and I'll see you back here again tomorrow.